Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 127 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Hulkamania Van Stratton. I'm joined by the legendary, the great, the sizzling Rodney Newpol on a Tuesday night. Super Bowl week. We did it. We made it.
Yes.
How are you, Rodney?
Good, man. Good. Doing well. Tracking the little NBA action tonight. Isaiah Collier tonight, 17 points, 22 assists, and good find on his box score, playing 48 minutes tonight. So congrats to him. Shout out to him. Bunch going on in the NBA tonight. We'll get to more of that after we talk football, but plenty going on.
Yeah, I truthfully, and I don't know if this is like any lack of ball knowing on my part, but I truthfully had no idea what was going on in the Pacers Jazz game until I hopped on and you were like, "Do you see what Isaiah Collier did?" I was like, I can't say I did. But yeah, 17 points, 22 assists. But honestly, more impressive is, the fact that he played 48 minutes in a game that did not go to overtime. He did not sit. There was no sitting for that man. Where, Utah had the big trade today. They had 7 guys that played, 3 of them at 40-plus minutes, and then Collier played all 48. Like, that is more impressive than anything that NBA players are doing nowadays. No?
Yeah, no, that's impressive. And not sure. I mean, they only played 7 guys. I know they have guys hurt and they have guys traded. I'm not sure it's the wisest of move to play a guy 48 minutes, but I guess when the You there?
Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, lost you for a second. Hi. Welcome back.
I was wondering because he was leading the DraftKings King of the Court, and he was going to get 5.4K to each. I wondered why the reasoning was for picking him. Well, they only had 7 eligible players, so makes sense.
This would have been a good night to play DFS and like take advantage of all the teams that are playing with shortened rosters, and especially in a knockout matchup against the Pacers, who are the Pacers the worst team in the NBA record wise right now? Last I checked, they were at the bottom of the East. I don't know if they're still like
they are at the bottom of the East. They're a game below the Wizards, and Sacramento is below them in the West, and the Pelicans are below them in the West. But the Pacers own the worst record in the East.
They were like 3 quarters away from winning the NBA Finals in June.
Yeah. They were right there. I mean, is Halliburton worth that much?
Well, I mean, they've been not just Halliburton; they've been totally bombarded with injuries elsewhere. Like so many guys have just been up and down, and also they lost Turner as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like they've had a horrible problem staying healthy this year. And but yeah, maybe this Tyrese Halliburton guy is important a bit. But all right, Rodney, we've spent a little bit too much time talking about the Pacers here. So I want to preface this by saying that it is Super Bowl week. We're not probably going to talk too much about the game until Thursday's show.
Correct.
There's only so much we could say at this point. But I'm going to let you decide here. Do we want to talk NFL, including some of the coaching hires that we've seen? Because now all of the head coach vacancies have been filled across the league. Do we want to start NFL, or do we want to keep it rolling with NBA here? I'll let you decide.
I think we can go briefly with the NFL, and like you said, on Thursday we'll kind of give picks and break more of the game down. But we can probably finish with go NFL and then get back to the wild stuff that's going on in the NBA. So it sounds like Sam Darnold is going to be fine. He had a couple, the shoulder concern, but not sure it's that big a concern. Coaching moves, I don't know. I guess my only question is Clint Kubiak, was he focused the entire time getting his team ready? Because we've seen this before where a coach may have lost some focus because he's looking for a new job. I guess that would maybe be the biggest concern. But other than that, I mean, it's been a fairly slow news cycle for the Super Bowl. Now the coaching changes, that has not been slow.
I'm not sure if it's just my algorithm is not showing me a ton of NFL stuff right now. And I was actually going to bring this up to you. Like, it does feel, at least to me, like there's just not a lot of juice around this particular matchup. Like, okay, so last year was the Chiefs and their quest to get back, like to win because what would they be the first back-to-back champion, right? Like there had never been 3 in a row.
Correct.
So that was their sort of goal, and obviously Mahomes and Kelsey and all that. You had an Eagles team that was loaded. That was a great team that had Saquon Barkley. It felt like there was so much star power and there were so many storylines surrounding that game, and even like the years before that. This year, I'm not hearing much about anything. I'm not hearing much from the Seattle side, certainly. The New England side, maybe some Vrabel quotes during the Super Bowl media day, but have they had media day yet? Has it happened? Is it coming up?
Media day was last night.
Okay.
It's Monday night. It's really the only time you'll hear from the players during the week. And from all reports I heard, and most of mine is from Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd, it was pretty subdued. It was pretty businesslike. It was, and I guess that makes sense with a Mike Vrabel team that it's businesslike, right? Like that's pretty much.
Vrabel gives quote. Like Vrabel has quotes though. Like he. This is the same guy who said that he would he'd chop off his what to win a Super Bowl. That's a quote that he had back with Tennessee. So like this is the coach. So like he can give a quote.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like the storylines, there's not really too many storylines here because it's a Patriots team that, although it's not a Brady led team, people are like, okay, yeah, it's the Patriots. Like we've seen this before. Like it just feels familiar, even though it's a second year quarterback and it's Vrabel in his first year at the helm there. And then the Seattle side, I just think that like the Seahawks are a really, really good team, but not a team that like a bunch of people who don't watch football regularly are gonna like they don't know who Sam Darnold is. Right. And maybe that's what it is. Like it's no Mahomes, it's no Brady. Like of all of the homes in America that are going to turn on the Super Bowl, that really just watch the Super Bowl every year, like they're going to be like, who are these people?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And I guess one thing there, I guess I've heard a lot of is the backstory of Sam Darnold and how he basically stayed pretty grounded through all of this and figured out a way to survive in the NFL through just some terrible start to his career with like going to the Jets and getting Adam Gase as your head coach. And did you realize on Adam Gase so Adam Gase was his head coach and never once since he got fired has he sniffed an NFL job?
So yeah, was that the last time that he's been with any NFL team? Because he was a coach with the Dolphins before that. So he was the head coach of the Dolphins, and then he became the head coach of the Jets. So he was a head coach in the league for 5 straight years.
Yeah,
but and then since then just nothing.
Since. Nothing.
Yeah,
and getting drafted by the Jets. So yeah, I mean that's really, I guess, for me, what I've heard most of is like the story behind Sam Darnold. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think he's a dislikable character, but I just don't find a lot of reasons to like, oh, I really, really like this Sam Darnold guy. I don't know. I don't dislike him, but I don't.
He's boring. Like you could say it. He's a little boring. He's a little boring. What do you know on a personal level about Mike McDonald?
Very little. Very little.
Like that's kind of what I mean. Like this. So like the Seahawks team from a decade ago, it was Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. It was Richard Sherman. It was Pete Carroll. It was Russell Wilson. Like these are big personalities, big names. Like there was a real identity. And like I'm not sitting here trashing the Seahawks because all of the metrics say like the Seahawks were the best team in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
I think they've proven that they are a worthy Super Bowl team, but I'm just looking at it through the lens of like, it's very easy to get hyped for a Super Bowl because you got bulletin board material coming from a Richard Sherman or a Marshawn Lynch and all these quotes, and like media day with those guys is going to be a lot more eventful than like a media day where it's Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Mike McDonald, who like Mike McDonald, people who watch the NFL, what's the percentage that they would know who Mike McDonald is if he was sitting next to them on a bus or like on a plane?
Probably very little, not recognizable. Hasn't been around, hasn't been in the limelight for very long. So not very many.
Yeah. I kind of have an idea of what he looks like, but if he sat next to me on a plane, I don't think I'd immediately be like, holy shit, you're Mike McDonald, head coach of the Seahawks. Yeah, I'd be like, I feel like I know him, but I'm not so sure. So I'm probably not going to say anything because I don't want to like be wrong. Like that's kind of how I would handle it. Like Vrabel, I know, obviously. But
Vrabel would be a very menacing man.
Yeah. Why is this giant person sitting next to me? Yeah. So no movement on the odds there for the Super Bowl. It's still 4.5. I don't know if it's moved and then has come back. I'm sure you've been tracking a little bit, but it seems like it's been pretty firm in place at 4.5. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. Yeah. Over under sitting at 45.5. Yeah. So not really many changes there. Like, is it too early to know? Oh, the betting handle coming in more on one side or another. Have you seen anything about that?
Probably a little too early to know. We can maybe find Thursday. There may be an update on that, and then definitely by Friday. But our Thursday show, we should be able to discuss that a little bit more. I have not seen much of that. But yeah, I feel like the line's pretty much just stayed at 44.5 and 45.5 all week. Hasn't done anything. Maybe some Super Bowl MVP odds have changed. Sam Darnold's still the favorite there at plus 115. Drake May at plus 240. I don't know. Like, anybody going to win it outside of a quarterback?
Well, so typically it's a quarterback award.
It's a quarterback award.
What needs to happen? So like if Kenneth Walker has, like, if the Seahawks have the type of performance like they did against San Francisco, where it's Kenneth Walker carrying it, then like that would make sense.
Yeah, 8-1.
He could win there, and Darnold just sort of like manages the game a little bit. I don't think that that's gonna happen, but like it would be those types of instances. But like Jackson Smith and Jigba, he is the third best odds at plus 550. Obviously, an incredible wide receiver, is one of the best in the league. Did he lead the league in receiving? Or if he wasn't, he would have been first or second with Puka. But like if Smith and Jigba has a big game, that means Sam Darnold probably had a big game too. So it just sort of ties in there. So it's naturally gonna be going to Darnold there. Yeah, and then like with the Patriots too, like all of the Patriots options, they just tie directly into Drake May. Like, I feel like Drake May probably is the only person that I would consider betting on the Patriots side. Yeah. And maybe I would think about a couple other options on Seattle, but if it's New England, I'm like, it's Drake May or nobody.
Yeah, I mean, one flyer that I find interesting, he just does not get the ball enough, is Travion Henderson 75-1. It's like, okay, what if he breaks free a couple runs, Ramondre either gets hurt or fumbles or they decide to go a different direction. 75-1 is pretty interesting odds for an offensive player. And then I always look at defensive players. The problem is, even if you pick six, I saw this with Cooper DeJean last year. Pick six, like, that's great, but your offensive player is going to get it ahead of you. Yeah.
You bet him last year, right?
Yeah, I thought I had a chance. Like this year, it'd be like, well, just take Devin Witherspoon. Very good player. 100-1 odds. But, he has to completely – and same with Christian Gonzalez. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just too difficult to – it's just so skewed offensively, I guess, is my point here.
Yeah. So was it Dexter Jackson with Tampa? He had the 2 pick sixes, and that's how he was able to win Super Bowl MVP. Malcolm Butler was the MVP of wasn't he? in the Patriots Seahawks
right.
Super Bowl, the first one.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah. So like a play like that. So it would require no massive offensive performance from a winning player and someone on defense having either like two huge plays or like one game clinching play like how Malcolm Butler did. Like that's what it would essentially require, which it's not impossible. It's not impossible, I guess. And the Patriots defense has forced a lot of turnovers this year, so yeah, maybe.
And that's how, and we can talk more about Super Bowl MVP on Thursday, but that's kind of how I like to approach it. Like I don't want to bet the quarterbacks. And I don't really want to. I don't want even money. All right. I'm swinging for a fence here. And, I thought with Cooper DeJean, I believe it was like 40-1 last year. I thought I had a case. Didn't end up working out for me.
I bet the live odds were pretty good on him for a point. And I'm sure you saw that and you were like, holy crap.
Yeah.
This might be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't happen though.
All right. The other NFL topic, the coaching carousel is complete. 10 new head coaches in the National Football League. The Rooney Rule did not work.
No.
Usually doesn't.
No.
But not going to talk about that. What I am going to mention is that since we were last on, the coaches that have been hired. Okay, so we had what? Two more openings. Was it just Vegas and Arizona?
Yeah, both filled.
Yep. So Vegas is technically vacant, but it will be filled with Clint Kubiak. What happens if Clint Kubiak what happens if like the Seattle offense is just absolutely horrendous on Sunday and like the Patriots like Sam Darnold gets picked off 3 times, the Patriots win like 21-3. Like what do you think the Raiders at this point nothing's been signed because obviously he's needs to call plays in the Super Bowl. But like is there a chance that he could coach himself out of that job or is it locked in?
I would doubt he would have it. I would doubt that would happen. I think it's pretty locked in. And, I think then it would turn to, he was distracted. He was distracted. That's why we don't want, all these coaches taking new jobs in the middle of a Super Bowl run. I think it's all but locked up, right? Like I don't anticipate anything changing there.
And then the Cardinals do have a head coach. They went ahead and hired Mike LaFleur. So we have 2 sets of brothers coaching in the National Football League now. Mike is the brother of Matt. Was an offensive coordinator. So he was worked under Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta and San Francisco. He was the Jets offensive coordinator in 2021 and 2022.
Yeah.
And then has been the Rams offensive coordinator for the last 3 years, which like you have to say, he's done a pretty good job with Matthew Stafford. That's not like Matthew Stafford was a project by any means, but certainly I think these last couple of years with Stafford and with Puka Nacua have been really good. But now he gets his first opportunity as a head coach. I mean, I can't really say like that's an inspiring hire for the Cardinals. I really don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I just like, there's a guy. There's a guy. With a popular last name. Not popular, a familiar last name.
It's a familiar name. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But we haven't known what Arizona's doing for years, right? Like what is this organization doing? And now the question is it going to be Kyler Murray or are they going a different direction? I think that's the big question going forward there.
So, okay, out of the 10 head coaches, what is your who will have the most success in their first year? And if you had to pick one of these coaches, so these are 2 questions. One is who is going to have the most success in their first season, because there always seems to be like a great first year. Like it was Ben Johnson this year, and we've seen it happen before. Usually a first-time head coach, at least one, like has a great year. Obviously, Mike Vrabel this year. And then there's a possibility, especially with 10 of these guys, that like one of them could be one and done. So I'm going to ask you who will be the best first year head coach, and who is the likeliest to be 1 year and out?
Well, I said from the beginning, I think the 1 year, I think the Giants are going to make the biggest turnaround. I think Harbaugh. Now they did hire your boy Matt Nagy for that offensive coordinator, which I'm not sure you're crazy about, but
I have Nagy thoughts, but I'll save them for after these questions here.
Yeah, and as far as the new coaches or the coach that might be one and done,
yeah. Like who's the likeliest to just be like 1 year shit's terrible and then they're just like, all right, this was a mistake, and then they move on?
I don't know as if any of these guys are going to be that. You can't do it again with the Raiders.
No, I would if I had to pick, I would say Todd Monken.
Yeah, that was actually the first that came to mind. The first one that came to mind to me, or LaFleur there in Arizona.
Yeah,
but Monken, yeah. But Cleveland doesn't. I mean, Cleveland's not gonna bite that bullet in 1 year.
I mean, shit. Hugh Jackson got 2 or 3 years there, so. Hugh Jackson won like 2 games as a head coach in 3 seasons.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Monken. I think it's probably. I mean, Arizona's probably my choice.
Yeah. I was not exaggerating. I was very close. Hugh Jackson in 3 seasons as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns won 3 games.
Oof, that's not very good.
3 wins in 3 seasons. So Freddie Kitchens was one and done in 2019 for what it's worth. He went 6-10 and then he was fired for Stefanski. It's like the Browns have had usually like the coaches are like 2 years. Like Mike Pettin was 2 years. Hugh Jackson was 3 years inexplicably. Pat Shurmur was 2 years. Remember Rob Chudzinski?
Yeah, remember that name.
It was one and done in 2013. Eric Mangini was 2 years. So it's pretty common for them. But yeah, I would say just because of the team. And like, what happens if like, because Todd Monken's coming in as an offensive guy. Like he's an offensive guy. The job is to whether it's Shador or whoever, like that's his role there, or Watson, or God knows who's going to be the quarterback. Like if that team just stinks offensively, it's like, why are you here? And it's not like he's a young coach who they feel like is going to have upside. Like he's going to be 60. So
I just think that's probably why they would keep him another year, is being a veteran presence. And all right, this first one stunk, but you'll get a second year. We owe it to you. Your time in the NFL. I would be surprised at that one. I wouldn't be surprised if, but Arizona seems content just being there though. So this is an easy answer. I'll say they all last more than 1 year.
That's the bold prediction. So all 10 make it to 2027.
Yes, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just looking right now. So out of the 10, so Stefanski obviously had head coaching experience. Monken was a college head coach.
Yeah.
Jeff Hafley was a college head coach. Obviously, John Harbaugh, Mike McCarthy, Robert Saleh. So, because Joe Brady's never been a head coach, Jesse Minter's never been a head coach, Mike LaFleur hasn't, and then I don't think Clint Kubiak has at any level either. So,
no.
Six of the 10 have had head coaching experience at some level, and 4 of them it's their first time. So, yeah, pretty interesting there. But you brought up Matt Nagy, and yeah, I got to be honest, like. Going from early, like right away, once Harbaugh was fired, it's like Todd Monken's coming with him. I'm like, sweet, perfect. Obviously, that fell through. I was like, oh, that's okay, because there's a lot of options there. Like Cliff Kingsbury's there. Like there's, Charlie Weiss Jr. is a name that a lot of Giants fans wanted from his work with Jackson Dart. I'm like, oh, that could work. But no, it's Matt Nagy. I don't know how fair it is to judge like the Chiefs the last couple years on Matt Nagy, considering that it's Andy Reid's offense and Andy Reid is the one that's still calling the plays.
Right.
Now that said, it is maybe a little concerning that Andy Reid wasn't like, "Hey Matt, why don't you call the plays here in these 3 years?" But I was doing a little bit of digging and I was looking at the history of John Harbaugh offensive coordinator hires just to sort of get a sense of, is this normal? And I'll tell you on the front end, none of us should have been surprised at all that John Harbaugh went for a guy like Matt Nagy. So I'm going to give you some names here, okay? So John Harbaugh got the job for Baltimore in 2008. His offensive coordinator that he hired, his first offensive coordinator in Baltimore, was Cam Cameron. Do you remember Cam Cameron?
Yeah, he coached in Indiana.
Yeah, he was also the Miami Dolphins head coach for 1 year. I think they won one game, and he was fired. So Cam Cameron was the first offensive coordinator he hired, but a former head coach, and then was there for 4.5 seasons. Was actually fired in the middle of the 2012 season that the Ravens would then go on to win the Super Bowl just a couple months later.
Yeah.
So Cam Cameron was then replaced by the interim and then permanent Jim Caldwell, who, former head coach. Jim Caldwell was there for a year, got another job, and then was replaced by Gary Kubiak, former head coach, who was there for a year, got the head coach job in Denver. After Gary Kubiak left, he was replaced by Mark Trestman.
No.
Terrible head coach, but a head coach nevertheless. So first 4 offensive coordinators that he hires were all coming off of basically head coaching jobs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Caldwell and Kubiak, fine, but like Cameron was a disaster, Trestman was a disaster. And like, that's what it is. But like, you see right there the pattern of he cares about experience and coaching more so than just like who's going to be the scheme guru. Yeah. Like a, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't really want some 28-year-old wonder kid coach. Like he wants a leader on the offense who, even if the scheme isn't like world bending, he knows, okay, whatever, they'll handle the offense. They're a grown up. I got to worry about other stuff. His 3 coordinators right after that. So there was Marty Mornwig for another 2 seasons, who I can't remember if I don't think he was a head coach previously, but he was originally on Baltimore staff and then got promoted. Greg Roman was also on Baltimore staff and then got promoted and was there for like 4 seasons. And then Todd Monken was the one who he got hired out of Georgia, but like offensive coordinator for many years, former college head coach. So like all of those guys were experienced. Most of them had head coach experience. All of them were offensive coordinators before at some point. Basically like Philadelphia. So the Eagles just hired Sean Mannion as the offensive coordinator a couple days ago. So like Sean Mannion was an offensive assistant for 1 season, like a quarterback coach for 1 year, and then this is his first year as a offensive coordinator. So like a coach for 2 years and his first time really calling the plays now with Philadelphia. John Harbaugh's the total opposite of that. John Harbaugh's like, no, I need you to be like, you need to be a coach for a long time before I could trust you. So like Matt Nagy fits that bill. And I could tell you none of those guys that I said, there was not a single person, I'm sure, who when they were hired or promoted or whatever, that Ravens fans were like, hell yeah. Like that's the hire we wanted. Like none of those were exciting. Even I cannot imagine that like when Greg Roman got promoted, people were like, yes, finally. Right. Or like when Gary Kubiak got hired or Mark Trent, like they're like, oh, finally, yes. Like, oh, this dynamic offense. Like, so Matt Nagy sort of just fits all that. So yeah. And the last point that I'll make is like those are quite a few offensive coordinators in Harbaugh's tenure there. The longest serving one was Cameron, who made it almost 5 seasons. It was like 4 and 4.5 seasons. So Harbaugh, even though he's really hands off with the offense, I think he still is like, all right, if something's not working, like he's okay with moving on or letting them go in a different direction. And with Matt Nagy, I could see a scenario playing out where if Nagy's good this year, he'll get hired as a head coach somewhere and get a second chance and move on. But if it's been 2 seasons and Dart hasn't really progressed that way, he'll find another option, but an experienced option nonetheless.
Yeah, because I mean, Nagy was right there to get head coach job this year. Like they thought he was going to, right? That's most of the reason he left Kansas City.
Yeah, so he was out of contract, but yeah, he was I'm pretty sure the runner up for the Tennessee job.
Yeah.
He was getting interviews. Like NFL circles still value him. Mahomes and Kelsey and those guys have been very like they've handed praise to him on multiple occasions. Like they think very highly of him. So like maybe we just think differently about him a little bit because we saw the tenure up close with the Bears.
Yeah.
But also like we need as fans to think about how much of that is coaching versus how much of that is players. Like
right.
It was Mitch Trubisky and a rookie Justin Fields.
Right.
Were his quarterbacks in Chicago. Like at this point, we know who both those quarterbacks are. Like they've been on multiple teams, they've had multiple coaches. We know who they are. Like they are backup level quarterbacks in the NFL that were drafted to be starters, and like no one has been able to uncover that, like Matt Nagy or anyone else. So we can't really say, oh, he's been a disaster in that regard. So now he's just coming to New York. He doesn't have to worry about being a head coach. He gets to call the plays. He's working with a quarterback that has a high upside. He's got a great head coach above him. So like, I think Giants fans were expecting a lot more, but like, it's kind of what it was always going to be.
Par for the course for Harbaugh. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he works with Dart. I mean, obviously that's the biggest task that you have is you gotta make sure he progresses, and we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he's worked under Patrick. He's worked for Patrick Mahomes, but it's a little bit different animal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, of course it is, for sure. And like, and Mahomes' best years were when Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. Right. But again, how much of that was because Tyreek Hill was there and Travis Kelce was younger and more explosive? Like, there's all these different reasons that you could say rather than just like, oh, it's because the offensive coordinator changed. Like, Matt Nagy was the first offensive coordinator that Mahomes ever had. Like when he was a rookie. Like he was a very, very big part of them even drafting Mahomes in the first place. So you have to sort of think about it that way too.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, but yeah, that's what all their coaching. I mean, there's a few coordinator positions available, but not. I mean, we've pretty much wrapped it all up, really.
Yeah, it's just coordinators at this point. You know, the new head coaches, the guys like Monken and LaFleur and Kubiak when he gets the job, like they're going to fill out all their staffs. So we'll see.
Yeah. Shall we move to the NBA?
Yes, sir. Trade madness. I love it, man. I feel like the last couple trade deadlines have been a little disappointing, but this year it seems like I tell you, we've already had some pretty decent trades, and I think that there's some big ones coming still.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the trade deadline's Thursday. I don't know what time it is on Thursday for sure, but you know, we've got all of tomorrow. I don't know. We have tonight. You know, we've seen in the NBA there can be some late night trades. Well, we've both woke up to the Luka trade was in the middle of the night, right?
The Luka trade. I think Shams. Let me go back because my buddy actually because it was 2 days ago. It was the anniversary. It was February 1st.
Yeah,
buddy texted it to me, the original Shams deal, and because it was something insane, like 114 million views of that tweet that Shams had. Yes. So Shams Charania tweeted it. It was 11:12 p.m. Central Time. Jeez. So it was actually like Eastern Time. February 2nd was the official day. So yeah, it was 12:12 a.m. February 2nd Eastern Time, where Shams Charania tweeted out the trade. That now is up to 115 million views, over 300,000 likes, over 100,000 retweets. Like one of the most internet breaking deals ever. And it was reported at midnight. Like,
for those that have ever been paid by page views, that's a dream come true right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of your articles gets hit for that much, and you're loving
good.
life. But anyways, no, that's but anyway, back to the NBA. So we have tonight, we have tomorrow, trade deadline. I'll look up the exact time, but yeah, I mean, we'll have 36 hours or so. I do think there'll be some more that goes on and some big ones.
So the trades that have happened so far, so probably 3 hours ago, the James Harden for Darius Garland swap.
Yeah.
That it was somewhat sort of hinted at last night. It wasn't like said by Shams or whatever, but there was enough sort of smoke around the fire, and then gradually throughout the day, there were some reports, like I forgot who it was, but they were like, yeah, basically both guys expect to be traded for each other. So it was just sort of like, when is it going to go down? So Harden, who's on an expiring deal, if I remember correctly, is going to Cleveland. Garland and a second round pick go to LA. What's fascinating about that deal in particular is that the Clippers made this trade when they've won 18 of their last 22 games.
Yeah, playing well.
They were near the bottom of the Western Conference for the first however long of the season, and they've totally turned everything around. Kawhi Leonard is now an all-star. He was named as a replacement today. But despite that, they're like, you know what? Let's trade James Harden. And James Harden, just being the person who's never happy anywhere he is, was like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore for some reason. So he's now with Cleveland to pair with Donovan Mitchell.
He doesn't want to be here because Kawhi is taking over he's taking over the team, right? I mean, he's clearly not the one in LA, and he don't like it.
He's not gonna be the one in Cleveland either. Like Donovan Mitchell, I think is still going to be the number one guy. Like James Harden's 36 years old. I don't know why he expects to be the guy everywhere he goes. Like, you're on your sixth team now, dog. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree with that, but I don't know. Like, and does he think he's going to have a better chance of winning the NBA title in Cleveland? History says no, right? I don't know, but Clippers they haven't had a chance either. So it's pretty 50-50 with the Clippers and Cavs on their chances are just as good as the other. Like, neither one of them have real good chances to win the NBA finals this year.
Well, Clippers definitely not. Like Cleveland, you can't rule them out because, like, okay. So Denver or Detroit is by all measures really good.
Yeah.
They're leading the East. They pretty sure won again big tonight.
Yeah, they won. They were up big, but they only won by 5.
Okay, so they got a little close. When I looked earlier, they were up pretty comfortably. Okay, but this is a Pistons team that's 37-12.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it's pretty good. And like the Knicks are playing better, and the Celtics are. I mean, the Celtics without Jason Tatum this year are 32-18. Like that, people thought they were going to miss the playoffs.
Now they got a center too.
And now they got a center, and we're going to get to that. But like, okay, but all that to say is, I don't view any of those teams as totally unbeatable. This isn't, and even last year, like, Boston was knocked out in the second round. They were the defending champ. They were really good. Like, Boston 2 years ago was the last team in the Eastern Conference where I was like, yeah, that's a legitimate championship team. Like, they're going to cruise. Like, the East feels very, very winnable. So you're telling me that Cleveland, and this is assuming that Cleveland doesn't pull off any more trades here before the deadline, but like James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, that's still a pretty good team that I would like if healthy, because that's been, I think, the biggest issue for Cleveland this year is Mobley's missed a lot of time, and like they've had some injuries, but like I could see Cleveland. I see Cleveland have just as good a chance to win a 7-game series as any of those teams ahead of them right now in the East.
Yeah, no, and this Jalen Tyson guy has been better for them. They start Sam Merrill now too. So I mean, one of those guys obviously is not going to get a chance to start. But the question always becomes with James Harden is he going to fit into what they want to do, right? Like, is he going to is his style? I'm not saying he's necessarily a selfish player or whatever, because the guy throws out a whole bunch of assists, but like, does that style work with what the Cleveland Cavaliers want to do?
Well, I think it probably allows Mitchell to be a more natural 2 guard.
Probably.
So because Harden is a little bit more of a natural playmaker than what Garland was, it probably is a better basketball fit. But the risk for Cleveland is that they gave up a guy like Garland, who's 10 years younger than Harden, and like Harden could just be a rental, like could be a very, very short-term piece for them. So like that's the risk, but they're basically saying like right now we feel like the East is winnable and we're going to go all in with it. So I'm fascinated by that trade, but for being a star like James Harden, I'm kind of numb to his trades now. I don't know about you.
Yeah. It doesn't mean as much as it would have years ago.
Now, what I'm not numb to is this Jaren Jackson trade.
Yeah, wow.
That you alerted me to, that you thought it was Ja Morant earlier, and I got very excited. You just saw JA and Grizzlies and Jazz, and you were like, Tim, you called it.
yeah. I thought maybe that Ja, because you said Ja to Utah would be what would happen here, but instead it was Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah.
So right, I knew they'd be talking, those 2 teams, right? Like you just knew that they were going to have to link up for something. Okay, so in the moment, I was thinking, oh, Memphis, like, why would Memphis trade Jackson and not Ja? And they could still trade Ja Morant at this point. But the more that I've sort of digested and processed it, I kind of think Memphis totally robbed Utah here. Because I'm thinking, okay, so Jaren Jackson Jr. is a good player. He's a good player. But he's too small to be a 5. He's not a great like rebounding 4. Like he's a very good player, but I wouldn't say like he's someone to build around. And the contract extension that he has signed doesn't go into effect until next season. So Memphis is basically trading him before that contract kicks in. They get 3 first-round picks. They also get Walter Clayton Jr., who's been a pretty like intriguing young player. Taylor Hendricks has been a pretty intriguing young player. So like they get a couple young guys. So now they have how many first-round picks over the next couple years? It's a lot. Between the Desmond Bane trade and the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, like they have a lot of draft capital to work with. So I'm kind of like, you know what? I think Memphis might have actually been right in doing this deal here. And then I think about it from the Utah side, where Utah, their plans now, they're a 15-win team that still has Lauri Markkanen, that still has a Walker Kessler, and now added Jaren Jackson. And the plan is to keep all 3 of them. The plan is to keep them, which maybe means Lauri Markkanen becomes like your 3, I guess, by default. So, yeah, as I've sort of digested, I'm like, I kind of really like it for Memphis and the direction they're going to go. Like they're not going to win anything anytime soon. Like they're getting picks, they're rebuilding the right way. But I have no idea what Utah's doing on the other side.
Yeah, no, I find it interesting as well that Utah still has all those guys, and they have Nurkic in the middle. You know, they just have a lot of like big guys that are not game. I mean, I don't know if they're not game changers, but they're not going to put you over the top. They have a lot of the same guy, it seems like. So I find that interesting too. Is Kessler done this year? He's hurt. Yeah, he's out for the year, but he'll be back. He will be back in the future. But you're right on Markkanen. Like, why is he still there? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I was a little confused by it the more I thought of it. And like my initial thing was like, oh, Memphis, that's strange. And then I'm like, actually, Memphis, I think you kind of nailed it. Utah, though, I don't know what you're doing.
So all along was the beef. I mean, is Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja has that been part of the issue?
I really don't think so. Because I think like John Moran is not in their long term plans yet. I think that they're blowing everything up, and they envision uh, building the franchise around Edie and Cedric Howard, and then with their collection of draft picks that they have.
Zach Edey. Build your team around Zach Edey.
All right. I know that we've gone like very long here, but I just have a couple more NBA thoughts. The Bulls. I can't even say like, hey, finally they're doing it. Like they're blowing it up. Great. Because so the Bulls, they move Herter and Saric, and they get Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. They plan to keep Mike Conley Jr. But that's 2 guards. They also move Nikola Vucevic for Anthony Simons. So it was Vucevic and a second round pick for Anthony Simons and a second round pick. So let's do the Windhorse math here. So they've traded Vucevic, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, all that, for 0 first round picks.
None.
They've made trade and they've got no picks. And so the only draft pick dealing that they did today was to swap seconds with Boston. Which presumably will be a worse second than the one you had. Yeah.
What are we doing here?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So their young core now, it's Anthony Simons, who like a couple years ago, Anthony Simons averaged like 22 a game. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad
26.
player.
He's 26 now, though.
Right. So it's not like he's 20 years old. Do they still have Patrick Williams? Is he still on the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still sucks on the team. Yeah.
Still sucks. Yeah. So their young core right now is Simons, Josh Giddey, Buzelis, Io, and Jaden Ivey. But Io is on the trade block, as is Kobe White. I assume it's a guarantee at this point that Kobe White's gone. Like you don't get Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey and plan to keep Mike Conley if you want to like also keep Kobe White and all that, right?
Yeah, I think you're 100% right there. I mean, I think it's within a matter of 36 hours, Kobe White will be traded.
Yeah. Presumably for no first round picks either.
No, they're not going to get a first round pick for Kobe White.
Because they'd rather just get like a pretty solid role player in return.
Yeah.
So they could have the ultimate dream team of, hey, let's get a collection of guys who would be the 5th best players on a championship team. Correct. And let's have a bunch of them. Yeah. It's a bizarre team. All right, and real quick, Giannis, is he next?
I mean, Minnesota's clearing roster space and cap space to go after him. You threw out the bomb of Charlotte being interested in him.
Well, I didn't. I simply reported to you that Ramona Shelburne, I guess, on an appearance today on ESPN LA was talking about Giannis and mentioned that the Charlotte Hornets could get into the Giannis sweepstakes. Do I think they will? I do not. But how cool is it, Rodney? Your red hot Charlotte Hornets have won 7 in a row, and they are being floated out there as a sleeper for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
The problem is he may go.
Yeah. So if I'm Milwaukee, do I want Kahn or Brandon Miller? What do I ask for? Because one of them would be going back for sure.
I think you asked for Kahn going home to Milwaukee. I mean, yeah. I also look at it from the like selling ticket side. Brandon Miller is going to sell tickets too, but Kahn's going to the way he started his career, he's going to sell you out games for a while. Yeah, he just is. He's a local guy. He's a rookie of the year candidate. Cooper Flag's going to win. He's been. I mean, if any other season here in the last several years, he's the rookie of the year. Yeah, if.
It's one of the best. I was looking it up. It's one of the best rookie seasons that we've seen in the NBA, and especially from a guy who isn't going to win probably since Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's what you've kind of compared him to Steph Curry's start of his career, and it's been just as good or better. So yeah, no, I'm asking for Kahn, and like as a big Con fan, if he wants to go to Milwaukee, fine. It's closer. I could get to Milwaukee in a night and go see him play. But I love the start of that what he's had with Charlotte. So it would be tough to see that go. But I don't know. I'm going to guess that doesn't happen. My prediction is Minnesota finds a way to get it done.
So, according to DraftKings, Giannis's next regular season minute played after the trade deadline. So the Bucks, he's still favored, but it's plus 100 to stay in Milwaukee. Minnesota is now plus 200.
Okay.
They've cleared the room. There was an ESPN article where they put together, I think it was Bobby Marks, what like some potential trades would look like. So in a deal where Minnesota would get Giannis, they would also get Thanasis in there. It would essentially be like a 3-team deal where Milwaukee and Toronto are the other teams. Milwaukee gets RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Terrence Shannon, a couple other players, and essentially 4 firsts and 3 seconds. And then Toronto ends up with Cole Anthony and Jaden McDaniels just to sort of make everything work. But like Milwaukee, do you think like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and a shit ton of picks is enough to really like make that deal happen?
Probably.
Yeah.
Milwaukee just needs to get pieces to get better. I do find it interesting on DraftKings. Charlotte is listed 12th. Well, they're tied for 10th with Houston and Cleveland. Bulls are 4th. Bulls aren't getting it.
Bulls are 4th. Yeah, Miami is in the mix too. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe tonight they held out Terry Rozier and a couple other players. Oh, not Terry Rozier. Sorry. Well, Terry Rozier, yes, definitely. Terry Rozier is definitely being held out. No, I meant like Tyler Hero. I think it was Tyler Hero and a couple other players that were being.
Because we've
and like Tyler Hero isn't he from Milwaukee too?
Yeah, I think Wisconsin that's right. Guy? But
yeah,
I think that's right. But no, that Terry Rozier would be interesting. Let's see if we could trade him. But
yeah. But I do think Terry Rozier would salary-wise would have to be included in a deal. So if in this article, a Heat Giannis deal, it would be Hero, Rozier, Khalil Ware, 2 firsts, and then a swap in another year. I like Terry Rozier ain't gonna play again. So it's really like Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware. That's not that enticing of a package if I'm Milwaukee. I really don't think so.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. You don't think he'll go in the next 36 hours?
I do think he'll get traded. And real quick, one more Giannis note that I just learned recently, that he is eligible for a supermax to sign a supermax next season. But in order to sign the supermax, he has to be on that team for at least 6 months, meaning that if Giannis gets traded in the offseason, he won't be eligible to sign the supermax before the season starts. The only way that he can get it signed before opening night is if he gets traded before this deadline. So this is like, if Milwaukee really wants to be dicks about it,
yes,
they can not do it. But like, if this is sort of a thank you for everything that you've given us, and they want to end on good terms, which like they might want to, like, that's extra incentive, I think, for both sides to like be like, hey, let's just get a deal done within these next 36 hours. He can get his supermax, and like Giannis will have great memories of Milwaukee like every time he comes home. Like that's probably a way that you have to think about it. No?
Yeah.
Or they can just be dicks about it. That too.
Yeah. And they might.
They probably will. All right, you have 60 seconds. See you, Brendan Donovan. You said it last week that he was going to be on the move. He's on Seattle now. Cardinals got a bunch of prospects with fun names back, like three or four prospects. So your thoughts? So Arenado's gone, Contreras is gone, Sonny Gray's gone, Brendan Donovan's gone. This is like the biggest rebuild that the Cardinals have had in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, they're going to be young. They're going to be inexperienced. But if the Nolan Arenado trade didn't get it done, now the Brendan Donovan trade of opening up J.J. Weatherholt's position is a spot for him in the infield. It is exciting to maybe see a Weatherholt, Mason Wynn, middle infield. You know, you could add Alec Burleson and Nolan Gorman on the corners maybe. And, you know, you've got – You hope they obviously all, you know, can live up to what potential there might be there. So Yeah, I think it was the right move. They needed to get rid of him. They've got a bunch of prospects. They've got a bunch of draft picks. So exciting times there, but like potential players are only as good as they become. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think it was the right move. And good luck to Brendan in Seattle. It'd be a nice fit there. That's going to be a nice team.
I was just going to say, that's a really nice team in Seattle. And yeah, to your point, just to sum it up, yeah, the Cardinals, at least they're doing something different than what they've been trying the last few years. And
yeah, this was a year or two.
Like, I don't think anyone's going to expect them to realistically contend, but like, this is just the start of hopefully what leads to some good times there.
And I almost wonder if the DeWitts told John Mozeliak, don't do it yet because we don't trust you to do this. We don't trust you to do this rebuild. That's not how you function. You've never done this for us, right? Like we just keep it the way it is. We know you're going out, whatever. We don't want you to do this. I mean,
right. Because it's essentially he would be creating a mess he doesn't have to potentially clean up.
Yeah.
Like at least Kyle Bloom, who has had experience, making these types of tear down deals, like he'll be the one responsible for it. Yeah. I think that makes all the sense in the world for sure.
Yeah. They just listen, we're just leave the guys and we'll go from there. But I mean, it should be interesting. Pitchers and catchers report soon. I think we're getting excited for that.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right, let's do a real quick recap of best bets for betting. We had to change it up a little bit last week due to no NFL. You had Michigan State plus 1.5 over Michigan. Michigan won comfortably. I think they won by like 12 points. So
yeah,
hell there. I did another hockey bet, the only hockey game that Friday nights, and it was under. So congratulations to me. Rodney, who was very confident that St. Louis would not blow out Dayton, absolutely freaking nuked the Flyers. Holy crap. Did they just destroy him? Like by 30 points.
Yeah. St. Louis is on the move again tonight. They're beating Davidson at Davidson by 8 with 5 minutes to go. So looking to move to like 23-1 now.
I, with all my expertise and skill, masterfully picked Grand Canyon minus 1.5 at home against Boise State because I know exactly what I was betting there. So it was a good start for me, but you gained some ground here. The Magic took care of business against the Raptors. I did not think the Grizzlies would be gutless losers again to the Pelicans, the worst team in the NBA, but I was wrong because they were. You were all over the Knicks. They won that game real comfortably against Portland. I was all over the Celtics. They won comfortably against the Kings. You had a nice win with this one. Villanova cruised to victory over the Friars. And this one was bad. Like the Lakers, like the first quarter, the Lakers were up by 25 points. And I was like, okay. I misread how that game was going to go. Luka ended up playing, and the rest was history. I think they won by like 40. So all that to say, though, that you and I both went 3-2 on the week, which means our records get better, but you have not gained any ground. You were still 2 games back in the standings.
So we'll Thursday we'll obviously do a couple Super Bowl, maybe even all 5. Maybe we'll find like
I might do all Super Bowl. We might have to do all Super Bowl. Yeah.
I think that's the right choice. We'll find 5 bets to make and we'll go from there.
Yeah. All right, Mount Rushmore of 27. We talked about it a little bit on Thursday. This was going to be a big number, particularly in Major League Baseball. I'm sure that's where you want to start here because there are quite a few players that we can get to right off the jump.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this, like Mike Trout, Vlad Jr., Vlad Sr., Carlton Fisk, Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, there's 4 names: Juan Marichal,
Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve, he cheated. He can't get on this list. But
yeah.
I mean, when you're starting Major League Baseball and you got to pick one of them, it's your guy Mike Trout, right?
Oh, well, by career WAR, I think Mike Trout is the best number 27. I think Mike Trout is probably going to end up being if he's not, he is already, but even more so, yeah, the best 27 in baseball history. And like, there's some good competition. Like Vlad Sr. was 27 his entire career. Vlad Sr. is a Hall of Famer. I loved Vlad Sr. He was my favorite for sure. And then like Vlad Jr. is also excellent. And Giancarlo Stanton has been wearing it for 16 years and still going right now. Giancarlo could end up with 500 homers wearing the number 27, which would be huge. But yeah, I got to give the edge to Mike Trout here.
So we can come back to Major League Baseball because I'm going to say we don't need to include the NBA. The best 27s. Yeah.
Unless you love Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, no, I do not love Rudy Gobert or Jamal Murray.
Well, I was going to say, this is now first-time All-Star Jamal Murray.
No, they don't deserve it over any of those baseball guys we just named.
I don't think so. No,
Zaza, Pachulia, and others in that one. So I think we can skip over the NBA, but we can move to the NFL. The first one that came to mind to me was Eddie George, running back from the would be the Titans, whatever the Titans team was at that point.
The Oilers. I think it was mostly Titans at that point still, but would have been the Oilers. Yeah.
So I think to me, Steve Atwater was on there as well. But I probably would choose Eddie George, to be quite honest with you.
I think so. I think so too. That's who I would say above
Malcolm
all the
Jennings,
other options.
Tre'Davious White, but I'm Kareem Hunt, current number 27. But I think we could go with Eddie George here. So our first two would be Mike Trout and Eddie George. I'll move to the NHL and see what we got in NHL. But
I know one that immediately comes to mind for me in the NHL is Scott Niedermayer.
Yeah, probably a good choice there. 4 Stanley Cups and a Conn Smythe. I think he probably deserves it. So Scott Niedermayer, Mike Trout.
Yeah, I'll confirm just to make sure that there's no better option. But I feel pretty good about Scott Niedermayer. I mean, one of the best defensemen of all time for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find anything in the NHL better. Ron Hextall, remember him from the Flyers?
Yeah.
He wore 27. But I think you go with Niedermayer, Trout, Eddie George.
Alex Pietrangelo, too, your boy.
Yeah, Alex Pietrangelo. Is he still in the league?
I think that he technically is on Vegas, but he's like, yeah, he's not playing this year. We're not sure if he's going to play again. So he's kind of in that, like, he might be medically retired. He might come back. I mean, shit, Jonathan Taze is playing again. So, but like Pietrangelo, there's a chance he's done. But
so
Jeremy Roenick was 27 for the Blackhawks, but he didn't wear it his whole career.
Yeah. So who's the second baseball choice then? Trout and who?
I'm almost tempted to say Vlad Senior. What do you think?
Hall of Famer. Yeah, I mean, Juan Marichal is way too. I mean, he's not really our time. I'm sure he deserves as well.
I wouldn't know that he was number 27. I know Juan Marichal. I wouldn't know that he was 27.
Yeah. So Mike Trout, Vlad Senior. All right, I'm good with that.
So Mike Trout, Vlad Senior, Scott Niedermayer, Eddie George. I gotta say, this is a hell of a night for Anaheim sports to have Vlad Senior, Mike Trout, and Scott Niedermayer on the Mount Rushmore of 27s.
Yeah, didn't think about that. Yeah, the Anaheim. Yeah, there you
go. Loaded. Tim's childhood right now is so full.
That warms your heart.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and my first ever Madden that I played on the N64 was Eddie George on the cover. So like, it's all full circle right now. It all just came to this moment right here. Everything was
all back to your
this.
childhood.
Yep. And then but nothing but pain ever since.
Yeah. All right. On Thursday, we will talk mostly Super Bowl. We'll wrap up the NBA trade deadline. I checked out; it was 2:00 on Thursday, so we'll be able to get all of the trades done Thursday. Mm-hmm. We'll have a few hours to dissect them. Maybe we'll start with the finalized NBA trade deadline, and then we'll probably move all into the Super Bowl. We'll give some prop bets. We'll look at the MVP odds again. Maybe give a pick there. But no, that's what Thursday's show going to be, and that'll be episode 128. So bring your best 28s to the show on Thursday. But until then, I think we've about done it.
I think there's some good 28s out there.
Sure,
coming to mind.
No, we'll be good there.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, don't forget to follow us at Stupid Sports Show on Twitter. You can listen to all episodes of the show on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, anywhere you podcasts. And as Rodney mentioned, our next show is Thursday nights. For those that used to watch us Friday morning, you can't do that anymore. We are now Thursday nights, 9 p.m. So just if you're watching us now, just do the same shit, but like 2 days later. It's not hard.
Not difficult.
Not hard.
Yeah, not difficult. Make sure you get on my Substack. It started slow this month, a couple units behind, but looking to pick it back up as the season, as the stuff gets going here. Olympics, don't forget, Olympics start on Friday.
Yeah, I can't really give like expert sort of takes about the Olympics, but I do want the people to know I enjoy the Olympics. I will be watching pretty consistently. I know there's a little bit of a time difference and stuff, so I'll be watching a lot of like the primetime events. But yeah, I'm excited about the Olympics. Obviously, the hockey is going to be nice. NHL players are back so this is first time NHL players are back since 2014.
Yeah, I believe so. Which I find interesting. The NHL is continuing to play games all the way through Thursday. After Thursday, then they get 20 days off. 20. So if you're not playing in the Olympics, what are those guys doing?
I mean, there's probably like 3 weeks off. I'm sure you're not going to be like practicing hard every day. Like I'm sure you're going to have like some vacations in there.
So you probably,
some family time for a bit, maybe 7 to 10 days before you get back to it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. So if you're that coach, okay, you play on the 5th. All right, I'll see you back on the 13th. See you back 15th. See you back on the 15th.
15th.
And then we're
10 days. You get 10 days to just do whatever. Just don't get hurt. Don't get arrested. Yeah.
And then we're going to practice basically once a day up until our 25th. It's kind of an interesting. Coaches might like it because they can adjust some things. They can figure out something. They don't get a lot of practice time during the year, so it's interesting. But they play Thursday. I think there's actually just like a 7-game slate on Thursday, so most of them will finish up tomorrow for the kind of the first half, and then everybody comes back on the 25th. So see you NHL for a few weeks.
Few weeks, yeah. Ducks are playing their last game before the break tonight, actually. So this is it for them. So they'll have a very long break. So, yeah, I've been watching a lot of hockey this year, so it'll be the difficult adjustment, but it'll be up to the NBA and college hoops to grab my attention in the interim for sure, and golf. All right, let's get out of here. He's Rodney Newpool. I'm Tim Hulkamania Van Stratton. We'll be back Thursday night for a big ass Super Bowl show, an extravaganza. You will not want to miss it. It'll be a lot of fun. But till then, have a good rest of your nights. Have a good couple of days. We'll be back on Thursday. And this has been another fantastic edition of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpool and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.